Hello students, this is Ahmed Shaikh here. Welcome to Vidya Jyoti Academy. We're learning chapter number 6, life processes. This is part 2.1 and today's topic is photosynthesis. Before getting started, I would like you students to hit the subscribe button so that you can get all the updates of the upcoming videos, and be sure to share this channel amongst your friends also so that they can watch the video too. So let's get started. Today's topic is photosynthesis, and we'll be learning all the aspects of photosynthesis in detail. So the entire lecture is in front of you, and we'll be seeing different parts of the plant working to accomplish photosynthesis successfully. The first thing that we should know is that the process which we're learning, photosynthesis, is in mode of autotrophic mode of nutrition. In the previous video, we have already understood and learned about different modes of nutrition. So we'll just have a quick revision of what we've learned. So firstly, what is autotrophic mode of nutrition? Autotrophs are those organisms that can produce its own food using inorganic materials like water, light, carbon dioxide, and other chemicals. And we've also understood that example of these organisms are all green plants as well as some bacteria. The process, to be specific, which we are going to learn under autotrophic mode of nutrition is photosynthesis, and photosynthesis can be defined as a chemical physical process in which inorganic substances are taken in by organism and converts it into food and energy by means of light. So the most important crucial part over here is light, because the name itself suggests photosynthesis. So photo refers to light and synthesis means to building something complex. So we'll try to understand photosynthesis using this huge tree. For accomplishing photosynthesis, the plant requires few raw materials. These raw materials, in general, for most of the plants are the same. It is carbon dioxide from the air, water from the roots, and light from sun. So we'll try to understand these three aspects, and then we'll come to a conclusion that what do you mean by photosynthesis as a whole. The first thing over here is that the carbon dioxide is intaked by the plants. Mostly, the leaves are responsible for taking in the carbon dioxide gases. Now, the question arises that how does the plant intakes carbon dioxide? So, the leaves are supplied with very tiny pores which are called as stomata. Now, if you see the diagram over here, there are two dark green regions surrounded in a pore. These two dark green regions are called as guard cell, and they guard the opening pore of the stomata cell. The opening pore of the stomata cell is responsible for exchange of gases as seen in the image given. It intakes carbon dioxide and it gives out oxygen gases. So if you realize over here, we can see that the air which we give out, which is toxic for human beings, that is carbon dioxide, is taken in by the plants, and plants gives oxygen in return, which is useful to us. So this way, plant acts as a recycler of air and helps us to give the necessary component of air back again for us to use. So we've understood that the plant will be taking carbon dioxide from the leaves through the stomata, and then that carbon dioxide will be used somewhere in the process of photosynthesis. Coming to the next part, the other raw material that the plant requires is water, which is absorbed by the roots. Now, if you compare the mineral concentration of water outside the root and inside the root, the concentration is higher outside the root as compared to inside. Therefore, there's a gradient of concentration of minerals. This creates movement of water outside the root into the cells of the root. We have already learned about this concept in 9th standard, which is called as osmosis, where the materials will be moving from higher concentration towards a lower concentration. Now this route is taken up to the leaves where photosynthesis actually takes place through several bunch of cells which are called as vascular tissues, The vascular tissues responsible for transporting water is called as xylem. We'll be talking about this in coming sections. So this is the second raw material which is required for photosynthesis, which is water. So we've understood that water is absorbed by roots of the plant and taken up to the leaves where photosynthesis actually takes place through a bunch of vascular tissues called as xylem. The next ingredient which is required is the sunlight. So if we see over here, sunlight are mostly absorbed by the green parts of the plant. So these green plants are responsible for absorption of sunlight because they have a special pigment called as chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is a green pigment present in the chloroplast which absorbs the radiant energy of sunlight and converts it into chemical energy. This chemical energy is used to decompose water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen molecule so that this hydrogen can reduce carbon dioxide to form carbohydrates. So we should always remember that chlorophyll is always present in the green parts of the plant and therefore absorption will take place only on those parts which are green in the plant. So after taking all of these raw materials and completing photosynthesis, there is a byproduct formed which is liberated through the leaves again. This byproduct is oxygen gas, which is useful for all the aerobic animals which require oxygen for respiration. We'll be talking about respiration in the next session. So as a whole, we've understood that the plant requires carbon dioxide and carbon dioxide is taken in by the leaves and different parts of the plant where stomata cells are present. So stomata cell acts as a pathway through which exchange of gases can take place. The next thing that we've understood is the plant absorbs water from the root which is present in its surrounding and then it is transferred to the leaves where actually photosynthesis takes place through a bunch of vascular tissues called as xylem. Then the next thing is absorption of sunlight taking place by chlorophyll. Now these, once all these comes together, photosynthesis actually takes place and a byproduct is formed called as oxygen which is liberated again by the stomata of the leaves. Coming to the chemical reaction of photosynthesis, we come to know that 6 molecule of carbon dioxide when reacts with 12 molecule of water in the presence of sunlight which is absorbed by chlorophyll, then you will get 1 molecule of glucose, 6 molecule of oxygen and 6 molecule of water. If you realize this carbon dioxide is taken up by the stomata, water is taken up by the roots, sunlight is taken up by chlorophyll, glucose can be converted to energy or if not required can be stored in the form of starch. Oxygen is released by stomata and water is again released by stomata and this process is called as transpiration. We'll be learning this in the transportation section of this lesson. So this is the general equation for photosynthesis, although it is not so simple. There are many steps working behind the scene and you will be learning these steps in higher standards. Whatever you learned right now is a general summary of photosynthesis as a whole, but not in detailed step. These detailed steps will be explained to you in your coming higher standards where you will be understanding about different steps and procedures taking place while photosynthesis is accomplished. So that's all for today. We've understood photosynthesis and different aspects of photosynthesis also, how the plant acquires different raw materials to carry out photosynthesis and then converts it into starch, water molecule and oxygen, how plant acts as a mean of refreshing air by supplying more molecules of oxygen and taking carbon dioxide in place of it. So that's all for today. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, be sure to hit the subscribe button and like our video so that we can create more interactive videos just like this. To understand nutrition perfectly, I suggest you to watch these two videos also. Part 2 of this lesson, that is nutrition, will be explaining you different modes of nutrition and their differences. Part 2.2 of nutrition will help you to understand in detail about human digestive system. Also be sure to follow us on social handles like Facebook and Instagram so that you can be updated with all of the activities happening in our class, and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.